The other main perks of being a flight attendant is that there's really no politics. I previous to doing this job, I've tried a couple other things. I've been a police officer, and that's where, the stunts and the fighting comes in. I've also worked in court, and I've been a magistrate clerk. And in those jobs, it's all about politics, moving forward and getting ahead and getting a promotion and things like that. Or it's all based on who you know and who you're cool with. So that's one thing I love about this job is that it's not about that. It's just you get a raise every single year. Every airline has a contract or an agreement with the flight attendants. So you're going to get your raise no matter what. And another pro to this job is that it's almost like your own your own supervisor. You do have a manager or a supervisor, but you may never even talk to that person or see that person if you're doing what you're supposed to do. Like, if you're just being nice to people, you're not getting a bunch of complaints, you're being nice, you're showing up, and you're on time, that's all that matters. They'll never bother you. But, as I talked about in my other video, if sometimes if you have issues where like you have to call in sick, they do give you points, they give you those occurrences and things like that. But still, the job is like it is like being your own supervisor, just if you do the right thing. Another perk to being a flight attendant is seeing celebrities and serving them and, interacting with them. And I'm not going to name drop because part of this job is being discreet, but I will just say I've seen rappers, actors. I've, talked to pro ball players and things like that. And it's kind of cool. It's really interesting. Um, Another perk to the job is what's called special assignments, or it might be it's called something different at each airline. It just depends on where you are, but you have the ability to do something other than fly temporarily. And what that means is when you take on another job in a different department, but you just do it on a temporary basis. So, like, I could work with recruiting or training or maybe with uniforms for a couple of months, something like that. It just kind of gives you a break to flying, which I feel like everyone needs every now and then. And it's a lot of fun. And then you can go back to flying, keep your seniority. It just kind of depends. Um, so that I think that's it for the for the perks, but those are a lot of good things. Now, to finish up the cons, what I was saying about just people having different personalities, you really have to learn to have a thick skin in this job and not take it personally, because you will have some people that are just rude, and or sometimes, I don't want to say they're rude. Sometimes they're just maybe they're having a bad day, or maybe they're just not familiar with, they don't understand that, when you come onto an aircraft, 9/11 changed a lot. So if you're instructed to do something, you're kind of expected to do it. It's things that are really very minor that we as flight attendants we're trying to follow our FAA regulations, because we never know when they're ghost riding us, and they do that a lot to check and see if we're telling you to do the right things. Now let me give you an example. The reason why we tell people bring your seat all the way up, bring your tray table up, push those bags all the way under the seat. The reason for that is that, the FAA has done studies on this, and crashes are actually survivable. But what kills people is the smoke inhalation when a fire breaks out. So if we crash on land and a fire breaks out, I have 90 seconds to get you out of the aircraft, because they have deemed that's the amount of time it takes you to succumb to smoke inhalation and die. So guess what? If your tray table is down or you got big bags in your lap and people can't get out, they can't get out of the row past you, it's just a less chance of surviving that fire. So that's the reason for that. And I noticed that, a lot of times when I tell people, can you bring your chair all the way up? They go, it is up. They get mad at you, and it's like, I've just tried to be as savvy as I can. Sometimes I change the way I say things. Like now, instead I say, "Hi, would you mind pressing that button? Would you press that button on the side of your chair, please?" And they lean up, and then they press it, and then their chair goes bump, and then they go, "Oh." And so now they don't get mad anymore. They don't, because they don't realize what you were telling them to do. But that's just one of those little things that you just get issues. Now, this is another very small thing that I don't know if other females out there deal with this. Like, if you are a waitress, you might know where I'm coming from with this one. But serving couples, I don't know what it is, but I try to direct my attention to the female so that she knows I'm not flirting with her man or anything like that. But I sometimes it's just I get attitude no matter what. And let me give an example of what I mean, because you can't even make this stuff up. I was doing the demo in the exit row the other day, and this lady leans over to who I guess is her husband, and she says to him, "Her boobs are fake. They're so fake." And, she said it really loud, and, it just sounded really rude. And it's like, lady, what does it matter? And I didn't say that to her, but what I did say was, I said, he doesn't care. I said, he really doesn't care. Which you could take that a lot of ways. She could have taken that as, no, he doesn't care. He's not looking. Or she could have taken it the way I really meant it, which was, he doesn't care if they're real or fake. He's going to look anyway. And that's the truth. I mean, men will look. Who cares? It doesn't matter. I feel like sometimes people really do just project their insecurities onto you. And you have to have a thick skin with this job. You have to just let it go. You have to try to not take it personally, even though I am pointing this out because it's slightly annoying, but it's still like, it doesn't bother me. At the end of every day, I go home, I meditate and pray, and I forget it, and the next day is a new day. So it's wonderful. You can start every day out new. Another con to the job is just that sometimes it's physically exhausting. And the reason for that is that when you're in the air, you have a lack of oxygen. Whereas when you go swimming, like in the ocean, like when you're diving, you have too much oxygen in your body. And that's why as flight attendants, one of the rules is that we cannot go diving within 48 hours of flying. Like, you don't want to do that. You'll get what they call the bends. So you'll get sick. And the reason for that is, there's way less oxygen in the air. Your skin dries out. It just makes you tired. So what you have to do is drink a lot of oxygen. And often when I go to the hotels, I see a lot of crew members in the workout room a lot. And that's great because, we're doing what we can to just stay in shape and stay hydrated and, just be the best that we can for this job. And then let's see, I would say the last the last con of the job, which is not such a good thing, it's just when you get those really long delays that are just totally unexpected, like weather or maintenance. You get diverted, your plane gets sent to another city that you're not even expecting because the weather is bad. And I mean, I have worked 16 plus hours before. So we do have certain rules in place from the FAA that they can't work us over a certain amount of time, but unfortunately those things kind of go out of the window with weather delays. So that's just a downfall of the job. It doesn't happen every day, but it happens sometimes. So that's that. I hope I've given you some helpful information. And just a quick update on my acting. So we're not allowed to when you're acting, you sign confidentiality agreements where you can't talk about what you're going to do until it actually comes out. So you can't say you're going to be in a certain movie or a certain TV show until it actually premieres. So I can say that I've done an episode of The Vampire Diaries and the originals, One was episode 12 and one was episode 10. I can't remember which was which though. And I've figured out that I need to start keeping up with like the episodes that I'm in, but I also did an episode of Star. I did Acrimony, and I did Pitch Perfect 3. I played a French lady in the market shopping for stuff, and in Acrimony I was working in the office. Again, I didn't have speaking roles in any of these, but I did have a speaking role in The Oracle. I hope you had a chance to check that out. That's in the description below. I did a supporting role, and I also did the narration. So please check that out if you get a moment. It's a sci-fi movie, and I think you'll actually enjoy it. I like science fiction. And I'm actually writing a sci-fi short myself right now, and I'm doing the fight choreography, and I'm learning a lot. Speaking of which, I have a base level of skills right now, right? So I know that I'm not perfect at everything, like, my singing. I saw somebody dislike my singing video. And I mean, it's okay. I never said I was Beyonce. It's fine. But what I'm trying to show TV producers and movie producers is just that I'm trainable and I'm willing to put myself out there, because actors nowadays don't just act. They do a lot of different things. So I'm willing to do this. I'm ready to do this. And my stunts, I'm definitely working on. And I have a stunt video coming out in a few days, so please come back and check that out. I'm taking karate class again and stunt class. So I'm working on it, and I just want to keep learning and growing. I hope I've given you some good information today. And one last note, if there's a video with a subject you don't like, don't click on it, because there's other subjects here. Magic and dancing and fighting, and just come for the stuff that you like and just leave the things that you don't like. So anyway, have a great day. Bye-bye.